This is going to be a fun series of videos. I actually have 3 of them coming. This is for TCL projectors. They sent these over to me. I'm been showing them all off in the intro to each video so that we can kind of see the differences of them. I thought about doing a big video comparing all of them, but they're just such unique and interesting products that I think they all deserve their own video, but I do kind of want to touch on them. This one here is the A1, the TCL A1. It's a cool little thing. It has its little box in the background. Very focused on obviously portability if you want like a larger type thing. This slides down. You get a nice cool little angle. It comes with a full carrying case over here. This is the C1 here. This is meant to be just essentially a super budget friendly projector, but if you've watched my channel, you know that I have covered budget friendly projectors. They're good for your budget, but they don't necessarily bring all the premium features. This is meant to be in that market segment, but bring more premium, more reliability, etc. And then we do have the Play Cube here. This one is super cool. It's a cube. If you watch my channel, you know I like compact little cube type things. This one here, as you can see, it turns. It's not a Rubik's Cube. It's a portable projector. So this is actually going to let you take it on the go. It actually has a built-in battery, which is really sweet. So the first video I've decided is going to be the C1. We're going to go with the most budget-friendly offering here. This is a budget-friendly projector. Again, if you watch my channel, you know that I've covered lots of budget-friendly projectors, and you know they're fine. It's not like they're like bad products, but typically there are some compromises where you get the product and maybe not necessarily from the most reliable brands, maybe not necessarily the best specs. They kind of get the job done, but there's a lot of compromises. TCL obviously is, they're a dominant force in consumer visual products, so televisions and projectors now. I've used TCL TV. I have a TCL TV. I've used TCL products many times. There's a TCL TV actually right behind you. You can't see it, but it's off camera. It's right there. Yeah, I mean, they're a dominant force in the TV space, partially because they are competing with the high-end, mid, and low. They have segments for all of them, but they're better value than the competition. So here's that super budget TCL C1, $237.49, 25% at checkout at the time of recording this. There is also going to be Prime Day sales, which could be a little bit different. And these things I've seen, go on sale fair often bit. So I will put some links in the video description down below to the Amazon page there. That'll be awesome. And then we'll just look at their website here. It looks like it's on sale on their website too. This is easier for me to get specs. So you can see here, it's an adjustable projector. We have that adjustable hinge there. Honestly, very, very, very cost effective here. This is a ridiculous price for what it is. Normally when I'm looking at projectors that are under $200, they're pretty budget, to be honest. So we can see here, it is going to be Google TV certified, Netflix certified. Netflix is the pickiest with, being certified. It's Google TV. It has all kinds of certified apps on it. You'll see when we get in this video. 1080p resolution. It does accept a 4K input. Don't look at that and think that's bad. 1080p on a projector, I will show you in that video. In this video, it's much different than 1080p on a monitor or a screen. Big difference there. And it does have a huge range of screen. Obviously, if you move it closer, you're going to get smaller. If you kick it further back, you can get up to 120 inches. It does get reasonably bright too, 230 ISO lumens. It's, again, very budget friendly, and you're still going to get pretty good brightness on that thing there. A decent contrast ratio. Honestly, the same as any IPS screen, to be honest, so that's totally fine. So this is the C1 here. The C1 is going to be it's positioned to be their budget-friendly competitor. So it's essentially designed to come out of the gates and you get into this price segment. For example, you get into this price segment, you go on Amazon, you go on Best Buy, you go on whatever mom and pop shop, and you look at the landscape and you're like, okay, well, there's all these random brands that I've never heard of offering the same type of product, same type of product segment, potentially costing more, to be honest. But even if they're the same, then it's like, well, what am I buying here, right? So these guys are putting up this product here where it's going to be in that segment of more affordable, but still offering very impressive specs, and from a brand that you can trust and know. So that's really nice. So there, obviously, it's a pretty portable nonetheless. Like, it's not heavy by any means, but it's not meant to be like throw it in your like backpack type thing. You could obviously, but it's not meant for that. You do have your carrying handle type thing there, so you could certainly do that. You do have a stand there, fully adjustable that way, so it's easy to set it up and then you just adjust like that. Now you may think like, what about the angles? Well, it does have your little camera built in there, and that's going to give you your keystone. So we'll show you that later, but if you're slightly off, right, like that on a wall that's flat wall, the image is going to be warped. Well, the TCL will adjust for that and adapt your image so you get a nice square image, obviously straight up. Also helps with autofocus and that kind of stuff there. You do have ventilation at the back here, speaker built in, very nice. So you can see that. HDMI in, so you can plug in I don't know, your laptop, your computer, your gaming devices, whatever, we'll do that, of course. These have built-in support for Google Apps, so you don't have to do that. You can literally just use this as a self-contained unit, but if you want to plug in your Nintendo Switch or something, we'll do that. We will do that today, for sure, of course. And then you have your headphones, power as well. It does feel nice. I can't show you this or tell you this, but this is a nice, robust feeling mechanism here. It feels tight, not bad tight. It feels like smooth, kind of tight, but I don't feel like it's going to fall. Once I set it in a position, it's nice. So that's really good there. Nice little aesthetic, very clean, simple little product. And of course you can put it on a stand. We're just gonna test it right up here, honestly, on the wall there and on a little display. Okay, so we are gonna get this started. Just basically showing you the setup. I turned it on and it did its focus and its keystone, auto keystone. It's very easy to set up. I'm not gonna go through the setup with you guys, but it's just a standard, like even the remote is, it's very standard Google TV type product. So that's really nice. Now you can set this up with Google Home, and just go through that and it sets it up as a Google TV type product. I'm gonna actually go with this here. Now you can use the remote. I'm doing this on purpose. You can use the remote here. I just plugged in a little USB dongle. Let me just pull it out. Little USB dongle like that. I just plug it right in the back. And I like to do this because it just makes my life easier, right? Maybe I'm old school or something like that. And I can use a mouse and keyboard, right? Okay, so here we are. You can, when you're setting it up, you can pick the apps you want. And you can see these are all licensed apps. That's the nice thing, right? So, I mean, like which of these do I use? Like I use a lot of these, right? I use most of them, unfortunately. I'm Canadian, so, I have I don't actually use CBC Gem, but, you can use the Canadian ones. If you're American, you can set the American ones. It's going to be regional specific. So that's nice. Set up those. I will actually use those, so that's nice. We're going to be a little hesitant with, with showing copyrighted material in this video, but we can definitely test out some YouTube, some crispness for the text in that. We'll get this thing pumping. We'll get it tested out. Okay, so here we are. It is now set up just straight into Google TV, which is exactly what I want. That's you comfortable with it? I know. Okay, so this is just the C1 here set up. Right, I can adjust it, I can do all this kind of stuff here, but what I'm gonna do here is I'm actually gonna, just to a position, maybe like that or something, maybe do something like that. Let's see what it does with this. This is a canvas I set up. It'll figure it out. I'm not doing anything, I haven't touched it, I just moved it, I just turned it on. Let's see if it figures out what's going on with this canvas here. Look at that. So it figured out where it needs to be, the fact that it needs to be on this canvas, obviously. It figured out that the shape, right? It has the auto keystone type setup, auto keystone type feature, so it's setting itself up. All that I did was literally put the thing down, like move it back, set up this canvas here, and it essentially decided, okay, well, something's changed here, something's going on here. We need to figure out, adjust in terms of the actual angles with the keystone, and then focus and do all the things. All the fixings needed to be done. Of course, you can still fine tune, like you can come in here and you can press this button here. That's the focus button there. It'll do it. You can manually, it's going to end up doing basically the same thing because it's already set up, but it'll figure it out. And then you can come in here and you can fine tune stuff, right? So you can come in here if you want, you can do this. Maybe it sets it up perfectly fine on its own. You don't have to do this, but it is an option, right? You can come in here. You can go through the settings, projector. This is your input type stuff here, image correction, come in here. And then you can, of course, it's on auto, but you can manually do it. I don't need to. It did it perfectly fine. As you can see here, right? It's all perpendicular, and by perpendicular and parallel at the same time, both of them. So that's fine. Fit to screen, automatically align to the image of the screen. There you go. Made it do it again. Right, it's going to figure out what it needs to do here. Okay, zoom, all that kind of stuff. We can do some manual keystone, focus, all that kind of stuff. You can do it on its own. There's some advanced stuff in here. This is probably going to be left on. If you move it around, you can do that. It'll just fix itself. If you have it not at a perfect angle, you could do that as well, because it'll just turn itself on and it will just do that. Okay, we'll come in here. Turn on that. Okay, we're going to come back in here. I'm going to give it a little bit of a problem here. Look at that. Isn't that fascinating? It did it. It actually did it. So I put in that obstacle. Of course, it's smaller now, but that's because I had, I'll show you again. That's because I had that obstacle there. And it was like, there's a box there. We don't want that box to be there. So it automatically adjusted itself to figure out, well, how small does it need to be? What kind of angle, right? Now I'm going to take that out. I'm just going to do it again, just so you guys see what's going on here. This is useful because especially if you're moving around with it, it's so much easier to set up. But if you have it at a weird angle with a strange setup, like if this thing was off to the side and you come in, you just turn on your projector, you don't have to come in, turn on your projector, and then every single time set it up if it's not, perfectly aligned, right? You just come in here and you just press the button. Now in theory, this screen should now be bigger rather than coming, I don't want to mess it up, but rather than coming, it was like probably 15 centimeters in from the side. And now look, it comes right to the edge, or close enough, based on the angle that it can be at. So there you go, right? That auto keystone works perfectly. The focus works well, and you also have access to the obstacle avoidance, which is a really good feature, honestly. Obstacle avoidance, I don't really know how they do that. I guess it just detects, like, I had the box down there and it was like, something's wrong here. And so it's like, it's approximately 15 centimeters too small, too far. So it just shoots itself in. I don't know. It's AI kind of stuff. It does what it does. So there you go. That's some very important stuff there. The fact that it has that is really good. But I like it. Okay, so let's jump in. We'll do a few things here. Let's first of all show you how quiet this thing is. The whole time I've been sitting directly beside it. But let's see how noisy this thing is. I'm just going to do a little measure. You might see me poke into the camera. 36, which is like pointing this at it. I think something like there's electronic on in the other room there, and so there's a little bit of noise pollution. It's basically very quiet, we'll put it that way. I actually also have a little gaming console type thing set up. You can't see it, it's kind of dark, but there's a gaming console right there that's also producing some noise. So suffice it to say, it's nice and quiet. Before I do anything, this is at a fairly standard angle, like it's just pointed right at the wall, fairly perpendicular. But what if you do something like that? Yeah, look at that. So it actually adjusted the image up on the wall. We'll do it again. I'll make sure you guys can actually see it. Move it like that there. It's going to adjust the focus. It's doing a good job too. I haven't adjusted anything manually. You can if you want, but that's that there. Boom. Now, we can test this on a white canvas. Like I have a portable white canvas. We're also going to test it on this wall. As you saw in the intro, this is a grayish wall. Grayish walls or darker walls, like even darker, are going to enhance contrast. So the darker the wall, the more the contrast is going to enhance like things like black there. If you go with a crisp white canvas, you'll get even brighter whites, like really, really vibrant whites. Even with this here, this is not meant to be the brightest laser projector or anything like that. It's very much in the affordable segment. These look like pretty good blacks overall in this relatively light room, and actually quite crisp whites. Now, I also have I want you to, again, I'm going to do this in a little bit of a challenging scenario. Over here, we actually, on the left here, off camera, I have a huge window bringing in light. You can actually see the light leaking in over there. I'm doing this at like 2 in the afternoon, which is the hardest scenario here for this thing. I'm not going to turn on every single light in my room here, but this is how I watch things. I do not set my room very, very, very dark. If you go with an even darker setup, it's going to look even better. So this is looking good, right? We have the nice crisps texts over here. With a bulb-based projector, you do get a little bit of clarity loss when you go to the corners. That's very standard. That's just how it is. Unless you go with like a laser, it's just the way that a light bulb works. But even in these corners over here, this is still crisp, right? Like there's no problems with the text there. Obviously, you get maximum clarity and focus in the center, but even on the corners over here, it looks good. And I'm standing right in front of it, right? If you move back, at this point, I can't tell that there's even really any clarity loss. Looking really nice here. We've got your shows, all your Google apps. I installed a few, but there's more. You could do whatever you want. Region-specific kind of stuff. You can install more things. You can go to the Google Play Store. Right, go in here and go add apps. And add more things. Search for things. Like there's all kinds of stuff. Crunchyroll. I don't actually have a subscription to that right now, but I could. I do have HBO Max. I'll probably install that, to be honest. I'll do that a little later, but I can install these things, right? It has access to things. It recommends someone you set it up, but there's more. It's all kinds of stuff in here. There's all kinds of stuff in here. All kinds of stuff in here, right? Whatever you want, it's all in here. So that's fantastic. Google TV, just standard Google TV. It's exactly what I'm going to be a little hesitant with, Netflix, that kind of stuff, because it's going to get my video flagged, and which is bad because that'll decrease its range and its viewership. So we're not going to do that. But you know, you do get access to standard Netflix, Google Prime videos, standard. Amazon Prime Video. You get access to that. You get access to all kind of stuff. We'll go with YouTube. Crave, all that kind of stuff. We'll go with YouTube because I can control what I'm showing as a result, and I can show my stuff, which they can't demonetize because it's my stuff. Now this video is relevant because I'm going to be showing this little box here, this little box thing right here. I'm actually going to be using in this video to do a little game testing, just whatever. It's the closest thing to a Steam machine you can buy right now. This projector is a nice little pairing with the Steam machine. The Steam machine, if you know, is a low-cost gaming console that runs off PC. Of course, you could use Switch or something, or PS5, PS4. Xbox, whatever, but we're going to go with this today, plug that in, Windows handhelds, whatever, but you can plug this in. This will be my little Steam machine type thing. It's meant to be low cost, so you can pair something like this with a very low cost projector. That's kind of my narrative here for what I'm talking about. This will be really cool, but what I want to show here is whether this is clear or not. So we're going to come a little bit further. Okay, so what am I doing here? I want to show how clear this text is. We'll do other tests here, but this is a 4K video right now. It's actually being shown at 1080p on this projector right here. I'm recording this externally too. It may not show here, but this is not external game capture. It's kind of hard to show, but I'm actually recording this with a camera on the screen. Despite all these layers of crap, YouTube compression, multiple things like that, this text remains all super clear. Obviously, when we do gaming, I'll show that again. So, that's really nice. The fact that it's going to be able to get the imagery off of YouTube and still have it look quite nice. We'll get a little bit of motion here, a little bit of game footage. We'll obviously test that. But this is YouTube playback type stuff here. It's going to be nice and smooth. It's going to be quick, right? This looks nice and looks very vibrant. Wow, okay. The colors look killer. We'll get into the color section in a moment. But, this is YouTube playback. This is my video. It looks great. And this is like, there's multiple layers of shenanigans here. Like you can see here, I'm actually recording an external screen. This looks great. Man, I never watch my content on a big screen. Am I a real YouTuber now? This is great. Anyway, so it looks really nice, right? So, we'll test some games. Maybe I'll even play Pragmata. That's great. Very good. So that's going to look good. Let's do a little audio and visual test here. While we're on the video test, though, we'll go into that. Stunning TCL projector. This is like a TCL video. Obviously, they're going to use it. So it's got lots of colors, obviously. So intelligent color enhancement. Don't worry about what it's talking about here. This is probably for a TV or something, but it does apply. It looks great, right? The motion looks good, right? This is just a YouTube video. It's not some fancy thing. This is just a YouTube video. Right? YouTube video there. Good blacks. Good colors. I'm going to move around here, just getting a little closer. It's looking nice, right? The imagery and the movement, the actual movement here is looking good. No lag, no judder. It's looking very nice. Colors looking really vibrant, to be honest. This is just some TCL thing. Just use their stuff. Looks great, honestly. Looks really nice. Right? Now I want to come in here. I'm actually going to get a little closer with my phone camera because it shows colors better. But as you can see here, there's a mouse. Actually, let's do that. As you can see here, it's a 1080p output. So if this was a 1080p screen, LED, LCD screen, like a monitor or television, when they get really big, yeah, you do get pixelation because it's using pixels, right? So you're going to be able to physically see the pixels. We don't have that issue with the projector. So you may look at the spec on paper and say, oh my God, 1080p? 1080p is like, oh, we don't do that anymore. Well, that's not true when you're looking at projector technology because you do get a natural softening around the edges anyways because there is no pixels, right? It's outputting a projected color. So what happens here is you're not seeing things like little pixel edges here where this would potentially be a little bit janky if it was such a large screen as it is right now, but it was 1080p. So watching movies and playing games on 1080p when it's a screen up close may look really bad. I don't like that. But when we're looking at a huge projected image like this, it doesn't have that same problem. It looks really nice actually. So that's looking pretty good. I like it, right? 1080p you may think is a problem. It's really not on projectors. Let's take one step further and we're gonna now do some audio tests. Okay, so again, this does have built-in speakers. So we're gonna see how loud this thing gets. Now it's not some big sound system, but it's actually getting pretty loud. Yeah, it's getting really loud actually. don't know if you can see that, but it's like over 80 dB. I'm gonna come back. It's pretty loud. Let's come back and do like a voluminous room test. Even like far away, it's filling the whole room, right? Even back here. I'm like 7 feet or 8 feet away from it. So it definitely gets very loud. Let's talk about the quality though. Yeah, it sounds really nice. I'm gonna be honest, it sounds really nice. A lot of bass actually, surprisingly high bass. How does that have so much bass? Look at that tiny little guy there beside my coffee mug. It's putting out crazy bass. It's also shooting in my head directly at me. It's got really good audio, very good audio. I mean, I knew it was gonna be a nice projector, you know, TCL, blah, 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 good brand, yada, yada, yada. It's gonna be good, it's a good brand. That audio is shockingly good. Wow, okay. Like it's got a ton of bass, way more bass than I anticipated. It's also sounds nice throughout. So you have the low end, you have the mid-range, and you have the high end, and all of them are represented and all of them sound good. So I did not anticipate the audio to sound that good. Good job, TCL. I guess it is, you know, supposed to be an all-in-one audio visual solution. So yeah, if you're worried about the audio and you're like, I don't have a sound system, you don't need one. I mean, you can buy one, get more, but this thing is good to go day one. Okay, so that's very impressive. So I can't think of a better pairing than a steam machine. You know, the low-cost steam machine that's supposed to be coming out, bringing home PC gaming, reasonable quality PC gaming into your living room, right? Tiny little box. This is the closest thing you can get to Steam Machine right now. It's a little system that's very close in terms of performance. I've already done videos on it. It's not about that. But what I want to show you here is just how sweet the pairing is. So I have my tiny little box. Let's actually bring this little box here. It's a tiny little box. And we can set that basically beside this little projector here and get a nice little setup. Of course, another good option would be a Nintendo Switch, Switch 2, PlayStation, Xbox, whatever. I feel like doing this though, because this is the new hotness and a Steam Machine is going to be coming out. People who buy the Steam Machine are going to be trying to not spend a ton of money, right? They're not trying to go bankrupt or anything like that. But the, you know, the Steam Machine, you're still potentially going to hook it up to a really expensive TV, right? And that's not great. Well, what if you don't need to do that? What if you can hook it up to a much more affordable television, right? Like, isn't that nice? And by that, I mean a little projector like this, where you're not going to pay an absolute fortune. You get yourself a Steam Machine, you get yourself this guy right here, and all of a sudden you're cooking, right? So let's come in here. We'll do we want to do some Forza or do we want to do some Pragmata? Let's do some Forza. It's going to look nice. Okay, so first things first, we got those little texts there. That was really nice and clear, actually. Right, so this is a perfect pairing. You're going to get yourself a Steam Machine. You're gonna pray to the gods that you can get yourself a Steam Machine from Valve. And you know, it's supposed to be a more budget-friendly thing. You're going to hook up your Steam Machine here, which is meant to be, you know, paired with more budget-friendly type offerings like this. And you're going to be ripping games. And this looks fantastic, right? The colors look good, right? Reds and that kind of stuff all look good. The colors look good. Apparently it's winter all of a sudden. That's fine. It just looks great, right? Smooth, no image tearing, no blur, no input latency at all, none. It looks great that way. Feels great that way. No, it looks nice. Very, very, very nice. Good colors, good contrast here. Back of the car is looking nice and contrasty. Colors looking good. Let's get a little further in here. Right? This is how the Steam Machine is going to be at its best, right? Honestly, something like this makes a lot of sense. Like, Valve is trying to tell you, you know, you got to get yourself a big 4K TV, which you can certainly do. I mean, that's fine. It can do it. I've already shown you can do it. But this is a really good pairing. Something like this, you know, get yourself that Steam Machine, Nintendo Switch, Nintendo Switch 2, you know, Series S, all these kind of products here. They're going to be very happy with the resolution of this screen here, of this projector here. And it's going to look great, right? It's going to look really nice. Play a game like this, you know, you get really vibrant colors here. Look at these colors here, looking great. Very rich, bold, all that looks really nice. So I think we can wrap it up. I think we can wrap up this projector here. So why would you pick TCL? First of all, because I use a TCL. There's a TCL TV right behind you. You just can't see it. But if you don't believe me, there's reasons why you'd pick TCL. So TCL, if you don't know, which you should, I mean, they're everywhere, is a mainstream consumer product brand. So if you walk into a Best Buy or you walk into whatever mom and pop shop, you go on Amazon, there are TCL televisions and products there, right in front of you. TCL's been making high quality TVs for a long time, but they are competing at all three segments. So they compete against the high end, mid-range, and low, which is really nice that you have all of them. However, they cost less. I bought a TCL because it offered the same specifications of one of the like old school brands, but it costed like 30 or 40% less money. So I mean, right there, fantastic, right? So you're getting considerably better value than a lot of the other brands out there. So that right there is fantastic, especially in this market. So that's really nice. The other thing is, it's not some like budget random off-name brand, right? You're not buying into something where you're like, I don't know what this is. It was cheap and I bought it. No, TCL is a primary brand, meaning you're going to get really good customer support. You're going to get really good quality. You're going to get huge numbers of consumers on the market who are buying these products and using them, and then giving feedback saying, these are good, and you can actually rely on that. It's not some like random, backroom type brand. So that's really nice. This is the most budget-friendly offering in the projector series that I'm doing from TCL. I'm not going to say that it exceeded my expectations, because my expectations were pretty high. I mean, it's a good on paper spec product from a very good brand. So I kind of was like, it better be good. But the thing is also the price, right? So if you actually look at the price of the product, and then you look at the specs and what it is, and you're like, okay, well, like it's very good value, right? Despite the fact that it's like, oh, it's TCL, and they're telling me it's good and the specs look good, doesn't mean it actually is, especially at that price category. This is a very affordable option. Get yourself your little steam machine. I'm going to bring it in. This is my steam machine at home, right? It's not an actual steam machine, but you bring something like this in here, right? You pair up your steam machine, which is going to be a little bit more of a cube than this, right? But the same idea, right? You get your two little products set up there. It's kind of a perfect pairing, right? You have your whatever your little PC is, your Nintendo Switch, Switch 2, your gaming consoles, whatever. They're smaller products, right? You set them up with something like this. This is very, very happy to be paired with something like that. The upcoming steam machine is going to be, it's going to love this projector, to be honest. So if you're looking at getting yourself a steam machine, and you have yourself, monitor or something like that for your computer, whatever, and you're like, I want to get, a little home setup, get something like that and get this. Honestly, do it, like legitimately. I mean, this is not a review of the steam machine by any means, but I think it's going to be a really good pairing. You get yourself a console, home console, or gaming PC, whatever, streaming, whatever. This can be a great product. So if you are obviously a home user, you're going to get access to all of your built-in standard apps. Google Play TV is just standard here. So you're going to be getting access to Netflix and Amazon Prime and Apple and all that kind of stuff. It's going to be just very standard. Very easy to use, very standard. Everything's licensed. It's great. But I think I've been pushing this more and more recently. People who are gamers need to look at these type products as well. It's not just for the home users and that kind of stuff. And I know TCL is going to obviously appeal towards people who are watching shows, movies, like home theater type stuff. But I really think gamers are a market. Like, it's a big market. You don't necessarily, especially if you're a budget game, everything's so expensive these days. You're getting yourself a computer, a gaming PC, Steam machine, console, whatever. That's going to be a big chunk of your money, like a real big chunk of your money. Now you got to go out there and buy yourself, a very expensive television, plug that in, or maybe you don't have the room. Maybe you're in a small, like a bachelorette type thing. You're a student in a dorm room, or you're like me and I just don't have a big area for a giant TV. Like, I have a TCL, it's just not as big as this, put it that way. You get something like this and you get a versatile type product where you can get a much bigger screen. Whether you're watching shows or what I'm going to push you into, if you're a gamer, I'm telling you guys, you gamers, get into something like this. These are really good products. This is a really, really nice little thing here from TCL. I like it a lot, and I think gamers should consider it. I'm serious. But anyways, that's the TCL here, the C1. It's positioned by TCL to be very affordable from TCL. Like, generally speaking, it's, they're more budget-friendly offering here, which means it's actually competing with budget-friendly projectors, which means it's going to be a force in there, right? Like, it's coming into that price category. You go on Amazon, you go on Best Buy, wherever it is you shop, you go in there and you look up that price category, put in projector, and you set yourself a price threshold. This thing's going to come in there and it's going to be a dominant force in that price category.